Hello and welcome to today's BizzyWebinar. My name is Dave Meyer, delighted to have you here with us. And we are going to be talking about site optimization, otherwise known as SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization, or the art of getting you ranked better on Google and other search engines today. We're going to go through our regularly scheduled program here, and we'll talk through a little bit about BizzyWeb, and then we're going to go into SEO and websites analytics. What we're going to talk through is the top 4 areas of focus, common mistakes for SEO, suggested tools, and then we're going to wrap everything up and maybe give you a little bit of a demo. As we do each week, I'll give you a brief tour of how to get to the Q&A because we do love to hear from you. And so if you're at our event page today, which you should have received an email for, and I see a bunch of folks are already viewing with us, if you get to the page on our event calendar, and you can just go to BizzyWeb.com, and then down at the bottom of the page, there's a link to the event. If you go straight in, it'll go into this link and you'll see an embedded video. If you would like to ask questions during the event, under number 1 above, actually highlighted right here, there's a link to our Google Plus page. If you click that Google Plus page link, you'll note that there's a new page that pops up, and inside of that page it has a little play button and it says Q&A and live. So if you click that play button, it's actually going to pop up with a new window. And then from that new window, you'll be able to go into the Q&A tool right down at the bottom here. So as you see this, oops, pardon. So if you want to ask us a question from there, you click the green Ask a New Question button, and you simply ask a question here. So if you have questions, we'd love to see that. I'm going to be skipping back and forth to this window on occasion just to make sure that you don't have questions. And if you do, I want to be able to take care of it. So that's how to get in. Again, as a brief run through one more time, in the link that you received today to our BizzyWeb event, you're going to go into, under number 1, click the Google Plus link, and then that's going to take you to a sub-page that when you click on the play button is going to take you to this page, and then you can click the green Ask a New Question button down at the bottom to ask questions during the event. Thank you all so much for joining us, and let's get down to business. All right, so I promised I'd talk a little bit about BizzyWeb, who we are and what we do, and here's a little bit about us. So BizzyWeb was founded in 1999. We're celebrating 16 years here in business, and we're based out of Champlin, Minnesota. If you're not familiar with that area, we are in the northern suburbs of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and about 15-20 minutes out of downtown Minneapolis. Our team of 14 has clients all over the world, and you can see a couple pictures of BizzyWeb's Hive. Here, we do have a wonderful training facility where we help guide our employees, but also, more importantly, our customers into how to do all of these online marketing things. So if you'd like to stop by and visit us, we'd love to see you. Please do reach out and contact us today. We are an online marketing company focusing on 2 things. First, web design and WordPress-powered web design most specifically. And then online marketing, including search engine optimization, content writing, Google Ads, email marketing. We are a constant contact authorized local expert who also happens to be master certified. And then we take care of all of the other things regarding your online presence, all the way down to when you click to publish on your website then posts to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, and more whenever you publish to your BizzyWeb-powered website. So that's a little bit about who we are. Let's get down to why you came today and get right into search engine optimization. So first, I want to start out with just a couple of tips and talk about a little bit why to even do search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, or the art of getting found on Google, is really the way to get your content listed such that when your clients are searching for you around something that's urgent to their needs, your website and your ideally landing page to get them to that next step will pop right up and they'll be right in front of you. Now, there's a lot of art and a lot of detail that goes into SEO. Really, it's more called content marketing now, because with optimizing a website, it's all about having the most relevant, useful, and findable content on your website as possible. So when you're looking at your search engine optimization, first, one of the best ways to start is to go to trends.google.com and search for some of the similar things that you think you might get found for. So in this trends.google.com site, you just type in a keyword and Google will spit out relevant terms or things that are similar to the keyword that you've entered. So it'll give you related ideas, which will end into related keywords. And we'll talk about the Google Keyword Planning tool as well. But between those two tools, you're going to know a little bit more about exactly the type of content that you should be publishing if you want to get found. So for example, if you're a plumber, you might be searching for leaky faucet repair in Chicago, Illinois, or leaky toilet in Minneapolis, Minnesota, depending on where your company is located. And then you literally want to have related content that drives to that page, that gets them to a contact us form or a call us now button that gets them to call when they have that specific issue or when they're making that search. So it's a little bit of psychology and a lot of technology to help you get found to what matters most. Now, I mentioned already that it's all about content. So the key is, while you need to have as much content as possible on your website that relates to your keywords, you can't get caught up, or don't get caught up in the trap of overdoing your keywords and thinking that if I'm a leaky faucet repair website, if that's what I'm looking for, to just simply repeat that term over and over again. There's such a thing as keyword stuffing, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But if you list your keyword too many times on the page, Google's going to think that you're trying to trick your visitors or trick the search engines into showing that content on a higher page than it really is worth. And they'll actually downgrade your content or your page if you have that keyword listed too many times on one page. And again, I'll talk about guidelines and how much you can do without pushing it too far in a little bit. Also, while you have keywords on your pages and on your website and they're semantically created correctly, you need to also link to other pages or sites and have other pages or sites linked to you. And so sharing and getting content out on, for example, social networks like Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn is going to help you quite a bit to help your content to be ranked better. And then also, one thing that our clients and that most folks consistently fail to remember to do is that you need to label all of your images with alt tags. And we'll give you a demo of that in just a moment in subsequent slides. But having alt tags on your images tells Google and other search engines what your content on your imagery is about. And then if Google can see from an overview that you have relevant information to the keywords that your user is searching, and that the content appears to be well used, it's linked back and forth from other places, and it has a high quality score, or it's good stuff that has relevant imagery, relevant data, and relevant content on it, they will be much more likely to rank your website higher than if you didn't have those things. So the other thing to think about is to localize, and I'll talk again in a little bit about some ways that you can localize your pages. Google+, Yahoo, Bing, Yelp, Foursquare, all of those places have local pages that allow you to enter in your business, your keywords, and your physical location. The nicest part about that is that we're all tethered to our mobile devices now, our little mini computers in our pockets, and Google, Bing, Yahoo, all those places know exactly where you are when you're searching on your mobile device. And if you just happen to be close as a searcher to a business that provides that particular option or that has content for that keyword, you're much more likely to show up at the top. And that's actually a great equalizer. All things considered, if you're physically closer to a business that has the right keywords on its website and has the right directories, that business is going to show up much higher than a business that's further away. So having that locked in is a very good tip and a very good way to make sure that you show up correctly in your website results. To have an optimized post on your website is another very important part. And so this is a little bit mechanical, but there's such a thing as a content title, a description or meta description, and then the body and the post of the page. Your content title, which is different than the title of the page. So if you, for example, had an About Us page on your website, the custom document title or the meta title would be different because you're writing that title for Google. So while BizzyWeb's About Us page, on the top of it just says About Us on the actual page, to Google it says About BizzyWeb, Minneapolis web design and social media. So they have that data, and it's, again, very short, because if you go beyond 60 characters or so, it doesn't hurt you, but it certainly doesn't help you, because Google just cuts it off and you have ... at the end of that about 60 characters. Sometimes it's 70, sometimes it goes all the way to 80. Google's pretty generic on what it does, and it doesn't actually adhere to any strict rules, but as a lower limit, in order to make sure that you get exactly your content delivered the way you want it to, 60 characters is a good outside limit. So if I were to do BizzyWeb, online marketing and social media consulting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, serving the communities of, I would probably get to about serving before I got ... And so all of that extra typing that I did on serving the communities of is all wasted. Writing a helpful description, that's called a meta description, and that's literally what shows up underneath the link in your Google search results. So if you searched and you found About BizzyWeb, Minneapolis design or web design and social media, underneath that it would say BizzyWeb is a Minneapolis web design and search engine company and online marketing company focusing on WordPress powered web design and yada, yada, yada. So it would say a little bit more. You can think of this as your 1-2 sales pitch to anyone browsing on Google to give them the extra context that they need in order to show up in search engine results and in order to get them to click. And then in order to get as much content as possible ranked on Google, your body of your post or your page should have about 300 words or so, ideally even just a little bit more. The key is to make sure that your content is relevant and useful, and Google, by general broad strokes, thinks that about 300 words is a good round number for how many words is in an article to make it most useful. So if you just have a paragraph on your page, Google's not going to see that as being quite as helpful or useful as a 300-word article. And if you're wondering about how much 300 words is, that's about 3/4 of a typewritten page. You need to make sure that your content is original. If you subscribe to an online marketing service that provides content to a number of different websites all at once, or if you copy content from another different website, that content won't help you, and it may hurt you in your search engine results, because Google only gives credit to the canonical or the first version of that content elsewhere on the web. And so if you think that getting a subscription service to, say, legal news or automotive related news, if you're an auto body shop, that's really not going to help you at all as far as search engines are concerned. Now, granted, it might be helpful and useful information after someone has already found you, but it won't help you get found in the first place. So we can talk a little bit more about that. Just making sure that I'm going good here. I've got a lot of viewers today and no questions yet. Again, as a reminder, if you would like to ask questions, you need to be logged into Google+, but from the BizzyWeb event page, if you click on this Google+ link under number 1, if you click on Google+, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this, and then you can click the green Ask a New Question button right here in order to ask questions about search engine optimization. All right, going back into content, the top 4 areas that you really need to focus on when you're looking at search engine optimization are as follows: the keyword selection, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, creating good content, on-site optimization, and then, of course, link building. So as you look at each of these, keyword selection is figuring out exactly the right keywords that are going to be used by your browsers. And sometimes we get a little bit caught up in our own terms or our own business, and we don't think about what someone that's searching for our content might actually be typing into Google. So you have to play a little bit of a psychologist here and get behind the scenes and think about, okay, if someone is searching for my business and wants the type of solution that I offer, what are they going to Google in order to find me? And so that's your first broad stroke on what the keywords need to be for your business. So for BizzyWeb, for example, it's WordPress web design, it's Minneapolis web design, it's Minneapolis online marketing, it's Minnesota social media, or whatever. And so as you add, you can think about different locations. And sometimes it doesn't matter if your company doesn't really have a local contingent, or if it doesn't matter where someone buys, then you don't need to worry about the locality. But the more you can narrow down your search results or your search topics, the better your search ranking is going to be. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the Google Keyword Planning tool, because it helps you plan and it shows you the relative competition and search volume of specific keywords right in line. So creating good content, of course, we know the better your content, the more useful it is, the more traffic it gets, the more highly ranked you're going to be on Google. The art of page rank, or getting you ranked higher on Google search results, is literally about making the most useful article possible with the most links to it possible, with relevant content in that post, including images, video, and whatever else you can make to get Google convinced that this is an authoritative link for that keyword. Google is in the business of providing search engine traffic that's relevant to users. If you searched for something on Google and it didn't return anything useful at all, you'd very quickly stop using Google as your search engine of choice. And so that's where all of this search engine optimization stuff comes into play, and why Google keeps updating its algorithm in order to help the contents of search results continue to be accurate and helpful to users. Link building is also a very big thing as well, as we talk about building new connections. There's a very easy way that you can build at least 4 links to every single piece of content that you deliver, and that's through social media integration. You can have a link to your website from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, and more, just by having your website set up correctly and having it post out to all of those places every time you post. So you can do that very easily. We actually have busy webinars about that. I think our last one was about 3-4 weeks ago. And so look back from at BizzyWeb.com/events, or just click the search button on BizzyWeb on the sidebar of any subpage to find that particular webinar if you're interested in search engine or in social media integration. And then, of course, on-site optimization is all about having the right titles, keywords, images with alt tags, and all of that. So let's dig in a little bit more about keyword selection. As we look at keyword selection, you really want to make sure that you have the most concentrated and focused set of terms for your target audience. So one of the things that you, of course, need to do is include the keywords in your URL for your website. And so for this example.com page, small business SEO guide, that would be if I'm trying to get a small business SEO guide as my keyword, or if I'm looking for SEO or small business SEO, having those 3 words right in the slug or right in the URL of the web page is a good indicator to Google that this is probably relevant content. And then 4 to 6 keywords per page max is going to be what you're going to want to optimize for. And generally, what that means is that you want to be focused in your intent of each page. If I wanted every single page of my website to talk about 8 different things, it's going to be confusing not only to my readers, but certainly to Google as well. And so we're not going to get the type of results if we water down our search engine results. So if I have 1 keyword that I'm optimizing for on a page, that's going to have much stronger results pound for pound than it would be if I had 5 keywords on that same page. And then, of course, we're talking about the Google Keyword Planning tool, and I'll give you a brief demo of that in a moment. So in creating good content, making sure that you find a balance between user-friendly and readable content and what search engines are looking for is one of the constant struggles. We need to include keywords, and we need to use those keywords in the proper way by using H tags, H1, H2, H3 tags for content to highlight that, making sure that your content is up front and is at the top of every page and is listed and perhaps linked inside of your content. So if you have search engine optimization as your link or your keyword, then you're going to want to make that into one of the links and link to an authoritative page that might hopefully link back to you. And then the way to make sure that it doesn't sound too robotic after you bridge that out is literally to read that content out loud. It needs to be geared around your keywords, but it needs to read naturally. Otherwise, you're going to lose people as they're browsing your website, because of course, the end result and the intent is all about reaching real humans. And so you have to write for real humans and make sure that your content is geared to convert those people into customers. And so when you read that, it needs to feel natural, but it also needs to be very, very clear as to what your end intention is for that page. Is it to have people call today? Is it to have them shop now? Is it to have them register for a seminar? Anything that you're trying to get them to do is what you should be listing, and you should have a minimum of one call to action on every single page, and that call to action should be relevant to the keyword that you're optimizing for. If you try and optimize your home page and you're driving people in an AdWords campaign or in search engine optimization to your home page, but your home page doesn't have any call to action on it, you're asking people too much, and if they have to hunt and peck and drill around on your website, your likelihood of getting found and getting the action that you're requiring, the conversion rate of that page, is going to dramatically decrease the more hoops you make people jump through. So ideally, you have relevant content that has the right keywords, that has a relevant call to action right on that page, that gets your customers to the next step and just streamlines the process from searcher to customer. So anything that you can do to streamline, to take out additional things or other options, to clean up the clutter on that web page so that they can focus just on what you want them to do. All of that content or all of that work is going to make your website convert better, which is really the point of all search engine optimization. Make sure that your relevance is to the topic, not necessarily the keyword. So as you round up to your content, you need to make sure that it makes sense semantically. And even if you have specific types of keywords that you're trying to reach people with, you need to make sure that you drill down and that it still makes sense from a business point of view as to what that content is. And then again, 300 to 500 words, you don't really need to go over 500, but 300 is a good solid minimum. And then 2 to 3 paragraphs. I would shoot for more than that, probably about 50 to 60 words per paragraph. Keep it short, keep it scannable, use bullet points, use lists, use call out boxes, and then load that first 30 characters with the keywords. And if you're thinking about how this works, even in journalism, you want to get the content, the lead, right up front. You don't want to what's called bury the lead or the point of the article at the end of the post. Instead, you need to get right to the point right away, and just getting right to the point on an optimized article is usually including listing that keyword. So if this was Minneapolis web design that I was trying to optimize for, I would say at BizzyWeb, we are a Minneapolis web design company and we optimize all of our content for our clients, blah, 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 blah. So I got that keyword right up front, and it didn't seem forced, and it didn't seem confusing to our clients. You need to read it out loud and make sure that it works. So then link building, this is a little bit more tricky. It's the process of acquiring hyperlinks from other websites from other websites to sites that you own. And what it really is trying to get people to link to you. And to do that, you can try commenting on other websites. You can post to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, and Google+ in particular, because any link from a Google+ page to a website is what Google+ calls sparks, or what Google calls sparks. And sparks are tremendously good indicators for quality as far as Google's concerned, because it's on their baby. So the more high quality websites that link to you, the more likely you are to rank well in search results. And so if you do that regularly and consistently, you'll find that your content starts to rank higher. As far as quality content, making sure that your content is viral or shareable is going to help you get more links in. And certainly if someone shares your content on their social network, on their Facebook page, or shares an email around and other people click to it from all over the place, more traffic and more content always helps for search engine optimization value. So adding social share buttons to individual pieces of your content to give people an easy way to click like and to share that content on any of their social networks is going to help you by making your website more referred and more referable to others. Some common mistakes on SEO, if your site's not crawlable, you're telling Google that you don't want your website to show up on search engines. That's of course going to dampen the amount of traffic that you get to your website. So a lot of folks, when we set up, especially when you create a website in test mode, we have search engine crawling turned off because we don't necessarily want that content to show up. Well, if you forget to turn search engine crawling on before you make your website live, then you're not going to get ranked at all, ever. So make sure that you have the links set to follow and that people can connect with your website and that you're telling search engines that it's okay to crawl your page. And then make sure that you include the right words on the page and of course include compelling content, and then making sure that your homepage title is recognizable to search engines by using the right content and the right tools. There's a lot of fun stuff that you can do inside of Google Webmaster Tools to get your content searched and searchable, and I'll go through that again in just a moment too. So using Webmaster resources like Webmaster Tools is a very good way to make sure that you're set. Let me give you a link, of course, to Google Webmaster Tools. Just go to google.com/webmaster. Inside of Webmaster Tools, you might be able to see it on this page, but if you look down, you can look at your search appearance and see how each of your pages show up to Google. You can look at your search traffic, see who's visiting your page. You can see your Google index and what things are looking like in your sitemap and what you're doing. And then you can also look and crawl on different things and look at your security issues and other resources. One important thing that popped up recently on Google Webmaster Tools is the ability to check your website for mobile friendliness. Google calls this mobile friendliness. I call it mobile responsiveness. If your website is not mobile responsive, if as of April 21st of this year, Google slammed the door on search engine traffic for mobile devices, if your website is not mobile friendly, if someone's searching on a mobile device for your keywords, your website won't show up in those search results. That's a big deal because up to 80% of people are now reporting that they're searching primarily on their phones or on their mobile devices versus getting onto a computer. And if you think about your daily life, you're more likely to be sitting in front of the TV or perhaps sitting at dinner and someone mentions something or gives you a referral and you Google that person, that response right away, perhaps even using Siri or Google Now, and you just ask and you look and you search. Well, if you're not going to show up in mobile search results, you've just become invisible to the people that are trying to find you right when they're looking. And again, as we mentioned, physical proximity is a big deal. If people are on their phones or their mobile devices and they try to search for you and they're nearby, all of your benefit of being nearby is wiped out by not having a mobile friendly page because your website's not going to show up. So make sure that you look at that. And inside of Webmaster Tools, there's a handy tool that will let you do that very simply and easily. Another tool that you should really look at regularly is your Google Analytics. If your website doesn't already have Google Analytics, this is a free tool that you or your webmaster can install on your website. You just need to go to google.com/analytics, add a new page, or add your website inside of the settings, and then you need to insert a little bit of code in the header of your website in order to get Google, or in order to allow Google to track that page. It's very incredibly powerful, and once you dig in and you start finding out about Google Analytics, you can see how many people are on iPhones, how many people are on Androids or Windows phones, how many people are in the US, how many people are close to you, what people searched for in order to find you, and where they actually physically clicked. So you can get click paths, and you can find out that out of everyone that went to your homepage, 65% of the people that went to your homepage clicked on the About Us page, or they clicked on the Portfolio page, or they clicked on the Shop Now button. So you can see that, and then you'll know how effective different parts of your website are. And if everyone's clicking on something that you don't really want them to see, you might want to consider either removing that or taking that page and repurposing it so that it's more useful to you and getting people to show up. Now, I mentioned the Google Keyword Tool a couple times. Inside of google.com/AdWords/keyword tool, you can get the keyword tool, and if you enter in your keywords into the Google Keyword Tool, the easiest way to find this, by the way, is just to Google Keyword Tool. You enter in the keyword that you're trying to be found for, the website that you want it to be found on, and the general demographics of your page, so what industry you're in. And then Google will offer up relevant keywords and other keywords that you might not have considered based on the traffic to that keyword, and also the competition, so how much it costs to get a keyword ranking. Generally, you want to shoot for low competition, high volume keywords, but as you might gather, the higher the volume of a keyword, the higher the competition usually gets for a keyword. It can get very expensive to try and advertise for specific Google keywords, and you want to make sure not only to do positive keywords or enter in keywords that you want to be found for, but once you get into Google Ads, you also want to enter in negative keywords, because if I'm a shoe repair shop and if I type in shoe repair, I might want to add a negative keyword for ballet shoes if I don't service that particular network. So anyone that's searching for ballet shoe repair, I won't show up. Or if I'm searching for shop online, if I don't have an online store, I might want to add shop online as a negative keyword, where if people are searching for shop online, I don't want to pay for that click, and I don't want people to get to my website if I don't serve that market. So that's negative keywords in the Google Keyword Tool. Finally, wanted to also share with you the Moz.com tool. If you want to get found locally, go to Moz.com. It's a $50 thing per year, and it'll actually show you, or actually help you register on Google, Bing, Yahoo, Yelp, Foursquare, and more with a single click. And then it'll help monitor and maintain that content for you, all for that $50 a year. I don't make any money on that. It's just a great tool, and it's a great help for our clients. So check out Moz.com and click around for some details. I'm going to switch over. I don't see any questions yet, so if you do have questions, now's your time, because I want to get into just a couple more things, and then I'm going to close down the webinar if we don't have any additional questions. I mentioned briefly the art of social media and the art of getting things found online. So if you want to get ranked well and have good search engine optimization, you need to have your entire ecosystem of social media set up and connected with your website. If you publish to your website and your website automatically publishes to all of your social networks, that just earned you 5 or 6 more additional links to your content than you had previously. So what BizzyWeb does in all of our content, and if you follow us anywhere on the web, you'll notice that anytime we update our blog also goes out to our Facebook page, our Pinterest page, our LinkedIn account, our LinkedIn company page, our Twitter account, and our Google Plus page. And all of that content includes a link, an image, a title, and a description of the content that we're publishing. In Twitter's case, we don't have content on there because, again, you're limited to 140 characters, but we normally stick with the title of the article. And again, if you're doing your SEO right, you need to have the keyword in the title of your article anyway. And so if you show up for that, that's going to be how that's going to work. And so if someone types it in, they might see the Twitter account in search results, or that Twitter post. They might see your content. They might see your post if you have the right connections. The key is being consistent and making sure that all of your accounts look consistent with your website's brand and the branding of your website. As you see on BizzyWeb's page right now, we have very consistent and clear branding where you understand it's BizzyWeb from a glance anywhere you are, no matter where you are on the web. We use the same keywords across all of our social networks because our social networks are receiving all of the content directly from our website. And then we do occasional and additional social media outreach on our individual social networks to dig in a little deeper. but make sure that you connect it up so that you can monitor and engage and stay relevant on as many different networks as possible, because the more links in, the higher the ranking of search engines. When you use all these right tools, it's going to work together for you perfectly. Your website should have all of the general posts, plus it should auto post to all of your networks. Again, we can have discussion about this if you'd like, but in my opinion, having as much content on as many networks as possible, in particular for search engine optimization, is a very smart thing to do. With Facebook, you should be posting general posts and have general interest kind of stuff. Be sure to post images and videos on Facebook for best results. For LinkedIn, you're going to want to do business to business or general kind of corporate updates. Make sure that you've got high quality content that links to heavily usable information on LinkedIn. With Google+, it's all about search engine optimization. So you should be looking for every piece of content that goes on your website to be published on Google+ if you want to rank well on Google at all. And then finally on Twitter, short updates basically rounds down to the article headlines. You need to have great headlines for it to work well as an SEO strategy. But ideally, you publish your smart headline that has your keywords right in it, and it goes out on Twitter, and it links back with not only that headline, but your keywords built right into the link. In summary, search engine optimization, the art of content marketing, is dynamic and it's always changing. There's been, since the beginning of the year, there have been 3 big updates to Google's algorithms that they've announced. The biggest, of course, was the Mobilegeddon on April 21st, when they simply said that they're no longer going to link to websites that aren't mobile friendly on mobile devices. So make sure that you're keeping abreast of all of this stuff and keeping up with the state of the art. There are a lot of blogs that you can read. You can keep up to date with BizzyWeb and content that we have. We have blog posts on search engine optimization and other content regularly. So be sure to subscribe to our content. And there's a subscribe to link right on our website at BizzyWeb.com/BB. Always be as descriptive as you can and keep all of your information up to date. Your goal as an online marketer is to be as useful as possible to people that are searching for your content. You need to know who your customers are. You need to know what they'd be likely to type, and you need to use the items that they'd be likely to type as the keywords, as the core content of your website, so that people link to and understand what you need to do. And then as soon as they search for you and they click on your link, you need to tell them what to do right away. Your content needs to be descriptive and very clear as to what that next call to action really is. You also need to focus on providing a strong user experience for your customers, and using the right social tools and auto posting whenever possible is a great way to make sure that you rank well on search engines. All right. Erica has a quick question, and Erica asks, are there tools like Google Analytics that are available for Bing or Yahoo? And Erica, there actually are analytics and back-end tools for Bing and Yahoo. You can install those on your website. In general, search traffic is around 80 to 85% via Google. And so I usually go for the most bang for the buck. You might find that a lot of your content via Google Analytics is showing up from Bing. And so if you do see that a lot of folks that have their search engine pre-installed on a Microsoft computer, which is usually what happens with Bing, if you find that that's a big part of your search traffic, then optimizing a little bit more for Bing is going to help you. But really, Google Analytics will tell you where your traffic is coming from, and you're not going to learn much more through Bing Analytics or Yahoo's analytics tools than you would with Google Analytics, because Google tells you all the traffic sources, and it tells you the keywords and the click paths. So you can, but I guess my underlying message there is that it's kind of diminishing returns. So thank you very much for that question, Erica. And if anyone else has questions, would love to entertain those. While we do, I'm just going to wrap up quickly and remind you that, of course, BizzyWeb does web design. And if you need help with your design to make sure that your content converts and you can turn your website into a lead generation / money printing machine, please do talk to us. We build our websites so that when you publish to your website, it automatically posts on all of your social networks. We also do online marketing, including email marketing, where we reach out and we connect you up with the places that matter most and get you those leads in the door. We do content writing, search engine optimization, blog posting, Google Ads, social media marketing, and email marketing, all for our clients in helpful packages geared around either lead generation, deepening existing customer relations, promotions, or general optimization of content. Be sure to join us every Wednesday. We have events every single Wednesday, and next Wednesday we are going to be talking about, I forget, so I'm going to pull that up here, our events. My apologies as I find my screen here. If I go to BizzyWeb.com/events, you'll see that our next events coming up include, well, we've got SEO Basics today. We've got Marketing to Millennials next Wednesday on our Buzz Builders webinar. We've got How to Grow Your Email Marketing List on the 29th. And then we also have, for local folks, a Chamber of Commerce appointment or a Chamber of Commerce talk on social media that helps you set up and optimize all of your social accounts with Social Media 101 and 102. That's in the morning on next Wednesday. And then we have a SCORE webinar on campaigns that drive action with online surveys. And then we have a quarterly luncheon on customer retention best practices on the 30th of July. I do hope you can join us for some or all of those events. Finally, go ahead and fill out a buzz report if you would like us to tell you how well you're doing with your search engine optimization. If you go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, and I'm going to do that for you right now, you'll see from this BizzyWeb.com/buzz link a simple form that's magic. It's amazing, and it works wonderfully. It says right here, I'd like a buzz report. You enter in your website address, your keyword that you would like to be found for. If you're feeling sneaky, you can enter in a competitor's URL, and then your name and email, and click Scan Now. That scan takes about 45 seconds, and we're going to send you back a 17-page report on how well optimized your website is for that keyword, for marketing in general, and how you're doing against your competition. This is a free service that we offer to our clients. We hope that you take advantage of it because it's incredibly powerful and works really, really well. So do get a hold of us on that or give it a try at BizzyWeb.com/buzz. Again, I am Dave Meyer. I don't see any other questions here. So thank you very much for joining us on our site optimization, our SEO webinar. And we hope to see you back next time for Marketing to Millennials. Have a great day. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung.